Hello everyone, my name is MrGamingGuitarist and I'm here to review Arrow Season 5, Episode 17. It's very hard to pronounce the title of this episode. It's some type of Russian word. I think it's pronounced Kapiushon, something like that. Anyways, okay, and of course, full spoilers for this episode, so if you have not watched this episode, please watch it first before watching my review. There's your spoiler warning. Okay, so first I have to say, this was one of the most impressive episodes this season because we haven't had an episode of Arrow that felt this close and personal and intimate in an extremely long time. Like, I don't even... Okay, there was an episode back last season where it consisted of mostly flashbacks, but of course this was the season 4 flashbacks when Oliver was on Lian Yu again dealing with Ryder and Tiana, and I just didn't give a fuck. But this time I do care way more about the flashbacks this season taking place in Bratva. So I think it was very nice to see it, but not only that, was it very dark and close and intimate. It was one of the darkest episodes, I think, of the entire series. And there was like this increasingly... I loved how when it opens with the flashbacks and then it continues and it opens in the present when Oliver's chained up, and all you see is Adrian just saying confess, and you have no idea what the fuck it is, but you know that the state, like, each time it goes to the flashbacks and then it comes back to the present, the stakes get higher and higher and higher, and it gets more intense and more intense and more intense each time it comes back to the present. And and there's this overwhelming sense of dread, like, you know something bad is going to happen, or not something bad, but you know a revelation is going to occur, and we still have no clue what the fuck Adrian is trying to make Oliver say when he says confess. And then he says, confess, say the one thing you refuse to tell Oliver and... confess the one thing you refuse to tell Diggle and Felicity. Say it. And then he has to bring in the one person I wasn't expecting to see, but we got to see Evelyn again after, like, we saw her again since the mid-season finale. And, you know, for the longest time, I was entirely convinced that Evelyn was being held there against her will, that I was convinced that Adrian was torturing her, and then he said, and then he says, that entire part when he says, either you're gonna kill her or she's gonna kill you by the time I come back here. And I love how, and it just seems so convincing until, you know, at the end she just gets right back up. And it was just, oh man, the mental torture that Oliver has to go through this episode, where it's like you see all the moments of rage and you see all the anger, like if he wants to just snap out of those chains and just fucking kill Adrian. And then there's other times where he also gets into his head as well, and it's just all so damn good. And Stephen Amell deserves all the praise because he had... I mean, he's always good, you know. People will talk shit about him for being terrible in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles Out of the Shadows. Well, I don't really care about that because I refuse to watch anything that Michael Bay's involved with. But even then, whatever happened in that movie, I seriously doubt it's the actor's fault. Okay, anyways, but seriously though, he did great in this episode, like even great than he usually is. um, and so okay, so I've been talking a lot about the present. We'll go back to that, but first I want to. But let's talk about the flashbacks. So it was good to see just exactly how things went down with Kovar and with Diana's mom. Because we always wondered if when the next time we were going to see them was, and now we finally got to see it, and the way it played out with him saying, "I'm gonna help you. I'm gonna help you," and she gives Oliver the thing for the keys to, I think, the keys to one of the doors in the casino. That was good because it's like he was finally going to deliver on the promise that he made to Tiana. And for a person that didn't give a complete rat's ass about that character in season 4, at least I was glad that they were able to resolve that in this episode. And goddamn, I really did feel bad when Oliver walked into that room in the casino, and there she was just laying there dead. And I really did love the fight between. I mean, because we got to see it happen a little bit, like in the beginning of the season. But I was just so happy to finally see Oliver Queen fight Dolph Lundgren. Just the sheer idea that is actually happening was really damn cool to see. And I also like how in this episode too we finally got to see the edge that Oliver started crossing, where even when you can tell, even when Anatoly is shocked, like a fucking Russian gang leader or a gang captain, or he is the I forgot that word that he made, but when they gave him the ring and they had to cut his hands and do the handshake, I forgot what that word was called. He is like something, I forget. But anyways, when a person that's a member of a Russian gang is terrified, or like deep, is like when you could see when he was trying to torture one of Kovar's men, and he was talking about how he was hunting animals and like you can skin an animal 5 times bigger than a human, as he was skinning that person, getting the information out of him. And then you saw Anatoly's reaction to that dead body. That's when you can seriously tell how much this was the full breaking point of Oliver becoming the killer that he was in that extremely dark place. And I do like the things that Anatoly was telling him about how if you divide the monster into 2 people, the monster will fully become you. And he said, and I also like how he said, if you take off that hood, you might not like the person that you see underneath. It was all great stuff. And I like how it was cutting. And also, it was really good to see Malcolm Merlin, but this was back when he was still running the company, and I thought it was so cool, really neat how it was so close that Oliver and Malcolm crossed paths, and yet they never did, and yet they were right there, going to the same locations, visiting. Staying in contact with Kovar. I thought it was really good. Really, I thought it was just a very neat Easter egg, or a nice tip of the hat. So he was doing business with him for I forget what the name of Merlin's company was, but Merlin Global something. Anyways, yeah, it was all very neat stuff. But I liked especially how they showed we're cutting back and forth between the past and the present. And he was saying, "Who are you gonna?" He was saying, "Admit it to yourself," and then it just shows him killing more and more people. And then it finally becomes clear what Adrian wants Oliver to say. And then he finally said, "I killed because I wanted to and I liked it," and then he finally let him go. But seriously though, I have never I mean, I think the last time, of course, I thought seasons 3 and 4 were absolute shit, but the last time the last time I saw Oliver look that broken and damaged when when Adrian let him go and he had like all his clothes and his bow and arrows there and he took them. The last time I saw him look that defeated was in Laurel's when he was like at Laurel's funeral, back when you didn't know what was going on, when we didn't know who was in the grave, and all we saw was just Oliver and Felicity in that limo looking defeated, and she said, "You know what you have to do, right?" And then he says, "Yeah, I'm gonna kill him." Back when they were dealing with Damien Dark, if you remember that scene, that was the last time I saw Oliver look that defeated, and we saw that look here again. And then when he says, I'm done being the Green Arrow," that was, I mean, I wasn't entirely shocked, but that is what was happening here. But the fact that it took that long, or the fact that I'm actually witnessing it happening on TV, that I think that's pretty good, and it shows just how far the show has come. With having an entire storyline, how we had to deal with this one character for 5 seasons and counting, because we're going to get a 6th season, hooray, and let's hope that they continue on the track of being good again, like what season 5 did, to go back to return to its roots. Or at least I feel like season 5 has done a good job of making me actually give a fuck about Arrow again, when I didn't in seasons 3 and 4. But anyways, I mean, you can tell by how long I'm able to talk about this episode. You can tell how much I enjoyed it, and this was fantastic. I give this a 9.5 out of 10. So please let me know what you thought of this episode in the comments below, and be sure to follow me on the various social media platforms. All those links will be in the description down below, and I will see you next time. Bye.